Hey, midlife woman, with time you've changed. And honestly, as you should. One of the things I think we can fight about in midlife is this experience of always kind of going back to what we've always done and what we know. And finding some dissonance there, right? Like finding some conflict between where I am today and where I used to be. And it's easy to kind of stay the course, but not really reevaluate where we are, except for that it can really lead us to a place of feeling disconnected. And one of the spaces that we can commonly get disconnected from, honestly, is our value set. And so, what I would love for you to do is to bravely lean into your values. And today we're going to talk about that more in a minute. But if this is something that you kind of resonate with, where you've done life, you've kind of gotten in that, rote way of doing life, but there's something that feels not quite right. And you don't know if it's quite a midlife crisis, but it certainly doesn't maybe feel great. And you're not quite sure how you want to deal with that. What if I proposed a different way of having an experience with midlife? What if it was an awakening rather than a crisis? And what if I could support you bravely leading into that space? If that sounds good to you, then hi, my name is Jen. I'm the founder and owner of Laughing Lotus Wellness. I'm a transformational midlife revolution coach. And what I do is help midlife women really clarify who they are, where they are today versus who they are and who they were back in the day, to really connect with the space of living fully into their empowered space moving forward. If this is the second half of the game of life, right, we want to do that even more fully and with greater intention and mindfulness than we did the first. So for me, that's really what I help women do: harness their power, understand who they are, what they stand for, and the legacy that they really want to create using my 5-part system that I created. And that's really based in a long-standing history providing psychotherapy as a clinical social worker, and then a combination of all of the healing modalities that I love to use the most. Some are which Reiki, yoga, meditation, emotion code, etc. So we kind of throw those in a bag, if you will, shuffle them around and let you draw out which ones are most interesting to you. And we harness those healing tools to help you move through all the layers of your being, right? Because if you're made up of different layers, if you will, you also have to heal the different layers of your being, essentially. So today we're going to talk about being brave through value-laden courage. And values are the big word here. So what I want you to really think about for the entire conversation we're going to have today is, how does it feel? How does it feel? And when I say how does it feel, we're going to practice noticing with curiosity today. So how does it feel emotionally? How does it feel physically? Where in your body might you notice this sense of either lightness and excitement, or perhaps there's a heaviness, right? Perhaps you feel like it has a color. So I want you to really just lean in today as we do this journey. It's a very experiential thing, which I love tossing out to clients. I think it's really important to have an experience to understand what we're talking about here. So looking at how the values that you have feel in your body. So what I want you to do is, I want you to first, we're going to do a little exercise, and I want you to just notice. This is just noticing, right? Just the practice of noticing. So 2 things we're going to do today. I want you to first do a little exercise with me, where I want you to imagine the idea of the value of hope. Let's say you can tap in for a moment of hope. Breathe in that word, breathe in that idea, breathe in the energy of the word hope. And what I invite you to do for just a moment is just notice what happened. Did your body notice something different? Did your mind go somewhere different? What happened to your breath? Did your breath do something different? Did the quality of the breath get easier, lighter, more fluid? Did you find yourself holding your breath? Maybe you found a spot in your body you thought, I'm holding my belly. Why am I holding my belly? Maybe I'm holding my midsection. Why are my hands tense, right? So you're just noticing anything that comes up without any judgment whatsoever. But with that word hope, bringing that word hope forward, just noticing the value of hope. And now what I want you to do is, I want you to shake that off, however you do, right? However you do. If it's hands to the floor, shaking the hands out. I always do kind of a little energy clearing. It's nothing big. It's sort of like coffee between smelling perfumes. The reset. So you're going to reset. And then what I want you to do is I want you to think about the value of compassion. So just noticing the value of compassion. Where might you notice that in your body? What does that look and feel like? What's happening with your breath? Just noticing, just allowing that to kind of sink and settle, right? Again, this is a great video to save and come back to, because you can kind of practice this over and over again and see what happens, and each time you'll have a different experience, by the way. Depending on the day, depending on where you're at, you'll have a different experience. But I want you to get the idea that what we're doing is picking up values, okay? And then what I want you to do is, because some people value having things for themselves, I want you to almost imagine like greed. Now, it might not be your value, but I want you to just bring up that word. Notice what happened in your body. When you think of greed, what it looks like, what does it feel like in your body? What happens to the breath? What happens to your mind? Oh, did you have a story? Did somebody come to mind? Oh, did you do that? Ooh, right? Now I'm going to tell you why I did this. I did this because I wanted you to have a comparison. Some things that I'm guessing most of us can lean into, and then something that was probably not as comfortable for some. And I wanted you to notice what happened in your body. I wanted you to notice what happened in your mind. I wanted you to notice what happened with your breath. I wanted you to embody that when a value didn't fit for you, what happened? And here's what I want you to know, and this is really trippy, and this is kind of one of those mind effery things. That happens more than you notice. So when you're in a meeting or you are juggling 6 things and someone's having a conversation, they're talking from a space of a value that you don't agree with, your body, your mind, your breath, your being is actually leaning in and having an experience of it. Because it's like this, ding, oh, something's wrong. So you're having a physical reaction. And what can happen is we dismiss it, but it's actually really powerful information. So this is value-laden courage, means recognizing what it feels like in your body and then honestly living from that space, right? So that's like the next level, is going to be living from that space. So I wanted you to have that experience. Now, step 2 here. Now I want you to think about a value that you have. What does that look and feel like in your body? Pick a value that you have. Maybe you value freedom, liberation, success. Maybe you value wealth. Maybe you value connection, intimacy. So whatever the word is for you, right? Picking one word and just, what does that feel and look like in the body? What results will you get by living in that value? So I want you to start really asking yourself some questions. What happens if I live from this space? And what I really want you to lean into here, this last section, is what happens if you go out and you're aware of embodying your value? And can you utilize that as a springboard to then live from that space? Can I make decisions? Can I take action, inspired action that supports my value set? Right? So if I value liberation, for example, I want to own that in my body. Where do I notice that in my body? What does that feel like? What's my breath like? What does it look like? What's the vision I have for that? I embody that. And then when I go out in the world, my actions reflect living courageously through that space. So I take steps that support my living from that valued space, whatever value that is. So this is, I would encourage you to sort of lean into this. This is kind of a unique idea, right? But it's like, can I just function from a space of being very clear about what my values are like? Can I notice what that's like in my body? And then can I create action? Right? Everything in our lives is it's can have this beautiful energetic space. So I'm teaching you about the energy of it, but then I also want you to utilize that energy to go out and live it out loud. Okay. So this is brave. It's brave to like, okay, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to live from this space. I've got this idea. This is what I have my vision for. I'm going to go out there. And now I am really witnessing what happens around my values, but also for myself. And then I'm going to go out and I'm going to make sure that I'm actually living inspired action. All right. So that second step. So we kind of first checked our values. What did it feel like in our bodies when it was different? So we did kind of a check-in. Then we did an actual check-in for your value set. Now it's inspired action. Inspired action. So now I want you to define what are the inspired actions that hold space for your value set. And that might be a good tool to sit down with pen and paper and jot some ideas down, because I think it's so powerful. So if this idea was helpful today, what I invite you to do is head over to my website where I have got all of my vlogs available for all of time. So you can head over to my website. It's at laughinglotuswellness.com. And if you head to Purpose Tools, you'll see vlog after vlog, tons of free content there for you to continue taking information in and utilizing that to revolutionize the experience you're having in midlife, right? All different sorts of areas. You can go in there and you'll see there's themes. So go in there and tap into a theme that really resonates for you. Listen to that idea, sit and see what happens for you, right? So using this noticing tool, this idea of just being a really beautiful, like professional noticer, just kind of take in the information and see what happens for you. So that's a great spot to go in and harness some free information that I think can be really powerful if you want to step into a different and kind of revolutionized midlife. So as always, my friends, I invite you to go check that out, but I am supporting you, sending you healing, love, and light, supporting your journey to really standing in that bravery and having the kind of midlife revolution that you know was meant for you and meant for all of us. And we're just going to be the trailblazers and the pioneers of creating this space to have something other than a crisis. So that's what I'm here to do. I know you're supporting this through your inspired action, right? You living bravely, then you are actually holding space to the same idea in this platform that I'm so passionate about. So as always, supporting you in exactly that endeavor and sending you blessings, love, and light. Hope that you are standing bravely to inspire your own midlife revolution. And we will see you next time.